This week didn't start how I expected. I got laid off from my fashion design job because of the economy. But honestly, I knew I had two choices: stay stuck or step up. I choose to move forward, to show up for myself. Because no job or title gets to decide my direction. I do. Every rep, every breath, it's me building something stronger. Not just my body, but my mindset. This is a new beginning. I'm not starting over. I'm starting better. And I'm just getting started.
So I just got fired, which I figured was coming, and I've been applying for jobs for a while now, like a lot, because this job was the worst. And it has the worst turnover rates that I've ever seen. And I got a master's degree while I was working there. I started at my previous job on this master's degree, but I finished it this year. And so I have a master's degree in research psychology that focuses on business management. And so from the minute I started at this job, I've noticed all of the things that have gone wrong with it and like where they could improve. And I applied for management positions and I've done other things and they're not improving. And so I exited the meeting with the HR lady, which like I knew it was coming, but they told me yesterday that it was fine and that everything was good and that everything was going to be okay. And then this morning, like 2 hours into my shift, they're like, "Hey, can you meet me in my office? Bring your equipment." So I'm like, cool, I'm getting fired. So I plugged the vehicle in that I was driving and I like gathered my shit and then went into the building, and my boss was like, he was trying to get coffee or something, I think, but he was like, the HR lady wants to meet us in the conference room. And so I'm just like, great, I'm being fired like the whole time. And I knew it was coming because they fired literally everyone that I've worked there with. I've worked there since August, and in the time that I've worked there, I was the longest running employee on the team that I was working with. And until like before they fired the guy that had been there for like 14 years, he was the longest running dude, but they fired him earlier this month too. So like there's no job security in this position at all. And I was overqualified for it, but I really needed a job. And I knew the lady who used to be the supervisor. And so I asked if I could work with her, and I did. And it helped me not lose my car. So now I'm having like mental breakdowns over that because I'm probably going to lose my car because I'm behind a month in that, and I have bills to pay and I can't afford to buy groceries. And so life's just difficult. But I have a master's degree in research psychology with a focus in business management because I thought finding a job would be easier. It's not, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm open to work, obviously, and I just think that life should be a little bit easier. I got a job, or I got my bachelor's degree because I thought it would help find work. It didn't. I got my master's degree because I thought it would help find work. It hasn't. Like, I want job security. I want a job that I don't have to worry about getting fired from. Like, that shouldn't be so hard to ask. So if you know anybody that's hiring, the only way I've ever found a job in the last, 5 years has been through referrals.
I was just let go from my job. I had been saying that I wanted to leave them. I just wasn't expecting it so sudden. And I know when you ask God for something, He doesn't deliver it on your timing. He does it on His. I just had a birthday pass, and I feel like I'm trying to trust the process with everything going on, the economy, and just my goals and my dreams right now. I felt like I was really trying my best at that job. Sorry. And I'm not going to lie, the job, very strenuous. The hours are crazy. They play around with my schedule a lot. And I had been saying that I wanted to leave. And God heard me and he said, surprise. Usually I would feel so discouraged, especially while I'm working on my first short film. In the middle of working on my first short film. Wow. To be honest, this whole social media thing, this whole acting, modeling, it's not easy, especially when you feel like you do everything by yourself and you have to maneuver this industry by yourself. You have to put everything into God's hands. I don't want to let him down. This moment, I feel like he is telling me it's time to do bigger and better things. You are meant for so much more.
TikTok. I look a mess, but I got fired on the spot. Have no plan, have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm in total faith that the universe did this to catapult me in the direction that I need to be. Just doing this so I can document this year. It's just crazy. I didn't think that this was gonna happen, but it did. Unfortunately, due to the organization that I was working for not being able to fund as many employees and whatnot, but let's just see where life takes me. I don't know if I should go back to school, but
these corporations you guys work for do not give a fuck about you. Some people really need to hear that, okay? As somebody who worked for a company for 5 years, my mother worked there 35 years. I had great relations with all my clients, everyone I worked with, all of it. Even though I did something that technically was my own doing, it wasn't a huge deal, I still got fired. And they tried to say I quit, so I couldn't get unemployment. Looked into taking legal actions, all the things, and it just wasn't worth it. I just wanted to wash my hands and be done. I'm seeing the story unfold of the girl who was basically talking about New York influencers being boring and losing her job over it. While it does seem unfair, I lost my job over something I did to myself as well that still seemed unfair, but I still did it. That's life. Your job does not give a fuck about you. I hate to say it. I was in that boat and I felt it. And I was like, how did I lose my job over something so silly? I thought I was valuable. You're not. You're replaceable, unfortunately. I'm not talking about this girl. I'm just saying in general. They really just don't care. If you're sending an email at 5:01 and you're off at 5, I can promise you, no job is worth it. Don't go into your personal time. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't rely on large corporations to keep you around.
Do you know what it takes to get a minimum wage serving job that doesn't even require a college degree in this day and age?
At this point, I'm convinced that working at Indeed or working for Indeed has to be the easiest fucking job in the world.
Someone please help me find a job.
I'm a senior at Cornell, and I think it's pretty crazy that I've applied to 250 jobs and still haven't gotten a full-time position.
When did it become acceptable for companies to just ghost you?
I'm a senior at Cornell, and I think it's pretty crazy that I've applied to 250 jobs and still haven't gotten a full-time position. Who has a job out here? And it really sucks because obviously school and life is about to get really expensive for me. And I'm not a dumb student or anything. I'm an engineering major. I have a 3.8 GPA and I still can't land anything. And to be fully transparent, I'm not struggling financially or anything. I've worked on campus jobs at the gym and stuff. I've done a little side hustle where I claim class action lawsuits on an app called Claim. And I made a couple $1,000s doing that. But I can't do that forever. So I need to get a full-time job. If anybody has any ideas or advice for me, let me know. I'm kind of open to anything.
If I have any advice for anyone right now, which I should not even be giving advice. I am probably the last person who should be giving advice. My whole personality now is being post-grad, and I think it's because I have nothing else to fixate on. And when I was at school, I was so scared of coming home and not having a job that I just, just was applying to random places that I knew I probably would not but I was I need a job, so I just was applying. And that's just not the way to do it. Actually read what you're applying for. Read what they want you to do, and maybe 4 out of 10 times there's gonna be more on the job description that just simply was not mentioned, or the job description that you were given like isn't what you're gonna be doing. And I like kind of learned that the hard way. And honestly, like I'm so grateful that I did learn the hard way, because now I'm being extra picky with like applying. And yes, you can't be like super picky for your first job out of college. I get it. There's a way to go about it where you're not gonna feel like you're taken advantage of. And I feel like that's what you really have to focus on. I had an internship when I graduated. Like I was already like working for them, and then I started working in person, and great company, really loved it. It just, I was like, I need a real job at this point. And when I was applying to real jobs, like one company got my hopes up and I was so excited, and it just like didn't work out. And like that's so fine, and like it's okay to know when a place like isn't meant for you. It's gonna be okay. And yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Question: how long did it take you to get employed post grad? I'm entering, I think, month 7 at this point. Month 3, I was like, you know what? This is a sign from the universe. I need to travel more. I need to just live. I've been studying. I've been suffering. I need to have these moments to just thrive and YOLO for a little while. But it's getting to the point where I'm like, I have my master's degree. Why doesn't any level high school diploma only job not want me? Why does a job that only requires a high school diploma reject me? And I know it's probably because the pay range or whatever, but I'm getting exhausted. So how long did it take you guys to get employed? Please let me know and give me advice and tips.
Someone please help me find a job. I just graduated from a master's program 3 weeks ago with a master in public health in health policy and law. And I have been applying to jobs since March in Connecticut, in Massachusetts, in Texas, in DC, and I have not been hearing back from any of them. And I just don't understand like what I'm doing wrong. And I try to contact the people that have declined me or just ghosted me altogether. And I'm just not hearing any responses. And I know it's the market right now. I know people are like, it's so hard to find a job, whatever. But I need a job. Like, I need a job and I need help. So if anybody can help me, that would be great. If you want more information on the places that I'm applying right now, I'll do a little bit right now. But I've been applying to Texas Health, specifically the ones in Plano and Frisco. And I've been applying to infection prevention roles. I've been applying to medical lab scientist roles because that's also my background. So I've just not been hearing back. I'm either not hearing anything or an interview is scheduled, an interview happens, and then it's crickets. Like, I've had 2 cases where I had an interview and then I didn't hear anything back. And I don't know if this is normal, but I don't like it. So if anybody can help me, that would be great. I'm willing to do anything. I'll do sales. I would love to be in the health policy sector, but I know that most of those jobs are in Austin. I don't care. Just let me know if you have any leads or if you have any connections in the lab space where maybe you could mention that, oh, someone I know applied. I don't know. But let me know if you have any tips, any advice, or can somehow help me.
When did it become acceptable for companies to just ghost you? I went through 3 rounds of interviews, 1 creative assessment, and have yet to hear from the company. I did find out from LinkedIn, though, that they filled the role. I had my final interview with this team 5 weeks ago. I'm definitely disappointed because I was really excited about the job, but more than anything, I am really hurt that they haven't even bothered to contact me, especially because I just really liked all the people I interviewed with and liked them as people. It really didn't seem like the type to leave someone hanging for this long and be this cruel, because it is cruel. And I know things can get very chaotic and busy, and I'm sure they're very overwhelmed with everything they have going on, but that's why I held off on reaching out, because I didn't want to be bothering them. Because as much as I know people say you need to follow up and check in, I know I can find it unhelpful if someone keeps following up. So I just wanted to give them their space, and apparently that meant they were going to give me space forever. And I knew they had a lot going on because someone currently held the position I was interviewing for, so I figured they probably had to let that person go and then move forward with someone. But regardless, I feel like once you're hitting the 2, 3, 4, 5 week mark, a quick email at any point just saying, hey, we're still in the process of interviewing candidates or, reviewing candidates, but we'll get back to you soon. Or letting me know that they've chosen to go in another direction if they made that decision that early on. I don't think doing this is normal at all. It's not professional. It's really mean. I don't understand how companies are just allowed to do this to people, especially, in today's job market. It's hard, and I'm sure it's hard on their end too, but it's really fucked up, honestly. It's unfair because I'm waiting to hear back, thinking maybe I have this job. I don't know how much effort to be putting into other jobs because I don't want to waste more time and effort, because it's a lot of energy to apply to a job. Tailoring your resume, writing a cover letter, preparing for interviews. It's very draining, and so you don't want to, I don't want to say overexert yourself, but kind of, you don't want to be doing too much. I know rejection is just redirection, even when they don't bother to reject you outright. I'm debating sending an email to the HR person and manager I interviewed with, just, saying all this. I don't know if it's worth it. What's done is done. Thing is, during all my interviews, they let me know their company and office are planning to expand a lot. And so that sounds like they're going to be interviewing a lot of people in the future. And I genuinely hope they don't do this to anyone else. If you work in HR or you're a hiring manager, please don't treat people like this. I just feel like it's common courtesy. If someone's taken the time to apply to a job at your company and interview you and then also do a creative assessment, honestly, even if they only apply to your job, I think you owe them the courtesy of letting them know you've hired someone and are moving in a different direction.
At this point, I'm convinced that working at Indeed or working for Indeed has to be the easiest fucking job in the world. Because clearly you're not doing anything, okay? You're not actually making anything more efficient for people who are applying to jobs. If people are applying to all these jobs and never hearing back from anybody. I saw this guy make a video talking about how he applied to over 1,000 jobs on Indeed, okay? Over 1,000 jobs that he applied for on Indeed. And after applying to 1,000 jobs, not one single job called him back for an interview. Not one, okay? That is absolutely fucking insane. And I get that it's not all Indeed's fault. I'm sure there's a shit ton of businesses out there that are posting open positions at their places of work, even though they're not actually hiring to make sure that they look good in the eyes of the public. But it's like, Indeed, are you actually looking at any of these people's applications, or what the fuck is going on? And it's always aggravating as fuck that before you submit one application on Indeed, they hit you with this bullshit of, hey, we need to have you fill out this survey to see if you're a proper fit for the job, so please be sure to set aside 45 minutes in order to complete. 45 fucking minutes? You want me, let me get this straight, you want me to unpaid do a 45-minute survey just to see if it's gonna be okay for you to take my application and move it to the next step of the process? You must be out of your damn mind, okay? I really hate to sound like a boomer, okay, but could we not go back to paper? Okay, could we go back to the analog world? What happened to walking into a business and being like, hey, are you fuckers hiring? And they'd be like, yeah, we are. Here's a piece of paper. Fill it out with your information. As long as you're not cracked out, you start on Monday. People like to say things like there's no jobs out there, okay? There are no jobs out there. That's not true, okay? There are jobs out there. There are jobs that people are hiring for, okay? The problem is that you have to go through all these fucking loops and jumps and hurdles just to be able to get in the door to get one fucking interview. And then if you're lucky enough to get one interview, you got to go through a second and a third and a quiz and a pre-shift to see if you fit. Like, fuck all that. Are you hiring? Do you need the help? Here I am, bro. Let's make this shit work.
I just got this random meeting invite from work and HR is on it, and something tells me I'm about to get fired. So I'm going to record this because I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on. I'm waiting on them to join. Hello?
Hey, Brittany. Thanks for joining us on this call. I wish this was under better circumstances. After reviewing a video you posted online, upper management has made the decision to terminate your employment effective immediately.
What video?
We recently became aware of a TikTok in which you appeared to urinate on the floor. While we understand the video may have been comedic in nature, it does not align with our company's values. In fact, several employees came across the video and expressed concerns.
Okay, yeah, that's understandable.
As a result, we have no choice but to let you go. Your final paycheck will be processed within the next pay cycle, and your access to all company systems has already been revoked. Just be sure to return any company property as soon as possible. I'll go ahead and send out that address for you as well, just to make sure you have everything.
Okay, thank you.
Again, we do appreciate your time with us, and we sincerely hope you don't.
I am a 36-year-old nurse. I live in Southeast Missouri, and up until this morning, I had a job. And my boss called and fired me on my day off. He couldn't give me a reason. He said that I did a great job at work. But instead of cowering and hiding, I thought that I would make myself vulnerable and put this on TikTok to see if anyone else has ever been fired. I mean, I know there are people that have been fired in their 30s, but how did you feel? I feel right now very disposable. I think I'm a very proud person. I'm embarrassed right now. I managed to file for unemployment benefits in hopes of not missing too much of a paycheck. But wow, what a humbling experience.
I was let go from my position yesterday. If you've been following me for a little while, you know that in August of 2023, I was also let go from another position. So 2 times in 2 years, I'm on a roll. And I know what you're thinking. So I got fired 2 times. Like, I must be the common denominator, right? Maybe. But I got fired for expressing boundaries in a workplace that was already toxic and there was no protection for us as the employees. And then in an effort to stand up for not only myself, but, the other 4 people that I work with, it was decided that it was better to part ways with me. So that's the tea. I think I'm still processing and figuring out what the hell I'm going to do next. There's a lot going through my mind, but the main thing that I'm trying to remember is that I would rather have been let go from a position where my boss wasn't willing to hear me out and work with us on creating a safe and healthy work environment rather than stay there in fear. I'll never live my life in fear, especially not fear of losing a paycheck, because money is out there in the world and I can find it. I can get my hands on it. I will never live my life in fear of somebody else having power over me, the fear of them exercising that power on me. I'm never going to live my life like that. So in an effort to stay true to myself and my values and my morals, I had to stand up for what was correct. I believe I was professional in the way that I handled it, but it was too much of an ultimatum for him. So he decided to part ways with me.
Y'all, my corporate job just fired me. I went in today all nicely dressed like I am. And, they sat me down and told me they were letting me go. After 6 years at this company, I am no longer there. And you know what? I'm not even upset. Is that bad? Is that bad not to feel upset about the situation? Like, I've been getting questions from family and they're like, how do you feel? And my response to them has literally been, I feel free. The reason, before y'all even get, to thinking that it was because of something that I posted on here, it was not. It was because of budget cuts. And not only was I let go, but others were too. So yeah, that. Still surprising to me. I mean, I immediately asked in my, I guess, exit, just want to make sure that this is not about performance. And they clarified this is not about your performance. This is solely based on, us not getting the grants and these things that thought we were getting and us having to cut back. And so I had to write it all down as they were talking because I had to make sure, like, what? What after 6 years? I know God has a plan for me. I have been blessed with almost 18,000 of you on this platform, and I am so thankful. I hope they never take this platform away because I am so thankful for you all. And just know that it's about to come. Like, when y'all see me, just know. Just know. It's because, baby, that job let her go. I'm going to have more for y'all. I don't have much now. I'm still kind of in shock, but not upset.
It didn't really hit me until now, because my coworkers started messaging me. I lost my appetite after that. I still haven't had a call with my manager yet, but my biggest takeaway is don't let your job work you. What's even more messed up is they laid me off right before rewards and bonus season. And also, they're deducting my severance pay from like 2 weeks or something, so I'm really not even getting that much severance. And yes, I work at a big tech company. You can probably guess where I got laid off from. Also, they laid me off at the beginning of my vacation as I took off, so I have my severance package, but I can't receive it until I return the laptop, the corporate card, that stuff. But how am I supposed to do that? And I lose access to any work-related information this week. And I'm not in New York. Corporate America really gives zero shits about you. They worked me to the bones for a high-value client and then just got rid of me. So, yeah.
Company-wide layoffs that were happening where WPP is trying to consolidate a lot of their media agency silos. So like we knew that there was going to be layoffs happening and the client is under review. So yeah, I had a feeling my job was going to get cut, and unfortunately it did, and I just moved here to New York City. I expected it.
So I got laid off on Thursday. Today's Monday, and I have a lot of thoughts, so let's talk about it. For reference, I'm 28 years old. I've been working in corporate America for, 8 years. I graduated college in 2018, and this is my second, technically third time getting laid off if you include a furlough from COVID. I was not expecting it at all. I was pretty blindsided, but I am super, super thankful for this layoff versus my last one, and let me explain to you why. The last time I got laid off, I was 24 years old, and I had just purchased my condo. So my first piece of property, the only piece of property I own, I used most of my savings to purchase it. It's truly my biggest accomplishment. And 2 months later, I had no employment. I vowed to myself from that moment on, I would never let myself feel so scared and so hopeless ever again, because I truly wasn't sure what I was going to do. I was like, I think I'm going to be on food stamps. And my parents, just for a backstory, I had no assistance getting my house. My parents sent me dish towels as a thank you present. I 100% did this on my own. So it was 100% my responsibility to figure out what I'm going to do. With that being said, I then met my now fiance a year and a half later, and I live in his house, and we rent out my property still. So we do make a little bit of rental income. I also teach Pilates, and I own my own Pilates grip socks business. And I have done this weekend what is called redistributing my calories, now knowing one of my sources of income will be diminished. So I guess my biggest piece of advice here for women, because that's who I'm really talking to, but truly anyone, is
do not put all of your eggs in one basket. I don't care if you have the best corporate job in the world. I don't care if you think you have the job security. I used to tell people that this was the job I was retiring to, and I absolutely got blindsided by this. But I do not have to worry about how I'm going to put food on the table or what I'm going to do when I wake up tomorrow, because I have 2 other sources of income, 3 if you count my rental, 3 other sources of income, but 2 other businesses, teaching Pilates and owning my Pilates sub company, that I can now put more of my calories in and redistribute while looking for more full-time work. I am not saying quit your job and going all in on being an entrepreneur. If that suits you, great. But I love corporate America. I've always loved the stability of it, but do not put all of your eggs in one basket. I don't care if it's a hobby, an interest, something you might kind of be interested in. Dive into it, explore it, and figure out how to monetize it, because truly, you never know when you're going to get a random meeting on your calendar that you're going to get laid off. I'm not trying to fearmonger. I'm just being realistic. And it's really important just for your character development and as a person to have like a multifaceted personality, to be able to have hobbies that I've been able to monetize and take as something outside of work. I love teaching because I work from home and it gets me out of the house, but I also know I can kind of flow in and flow out of it as much as I want, depending on what I need in my life. So like truly, if you have not already, like especially everybody, but really women, like, because that's who I'm talking to, like, find something you're minorly interested in. It does not have to be the fire that's lit under your ass. It doesn't have to be your be-all, end-all passion project. You don't have to be obsessed with it every day. You're not going to be obsessed with anything every single day. But you need to find something that you can lean into and just figure out additionally, like, how you could monetize that, like, what you can grow from it. It doesn't have to be your own business. It could literally be a side hustle, but, like, truly find a side hustle, find something else. So in case you ever need to, you can diversify those calories, because you never, ever, ever know when you're going to need to lean into it.
The thing I need y'all to remember is that when your company decides to lay you off, in most cases, you're not going to have any notice, and they're just going to cut you out of all of their systems, like what happened to this gentleman. Now he's scrambling. He's trying to get a hold of his different contacts that could be helpful for him in his next job search, but that's a lot harder when you don't have access to any of your accounts and the company owes you nothing. And I've given this advice before, because the same is true for any projects you've worked on, any work samples. All of that is gone the second they cut you out of the system. So let me give you a couple of tips. So if you find yourself unexpectedly out of work, you're prepared for that. 1, make sure that you are maintaining like contacts, people that would be helpful to you in the future. You need to have their contact information somewhere else. You can do that by forwarding the emails to another email account. You can get a CRM. I use this one called Dex. You can write them down in Excel. You can make an address book, make a little Rolodex, whatever, but you do want to keep up with your contacts from each of your jobs. Second tip I'm going to give you is you need to be saving those work samples. Again, you can email them to yourselves. You can copy and paste the relevant portions and put them into a personal Google Drive, but you want to have access to some of the things, because in the future employers are going to ask you to see work products as part of the interview process. And so you want to have things that you can point to. And the third thing I'll say is, like, when you get praise at work, you get shout outs, screenshot those things, save those things, because these are things that you can reference in the future. When they ask you for an example of what people you work with say about you, you've got a long list of things because you've been saving those. If you need an introduction to a job that you're interested in, these are people, the people who have been fans of yours are the people you can go to and say, hey, can you intro me for this opportunity? These are examples you can pull from for interviews when you're in behavioral interviews and they want to hear about times that you've like solved problems or things like that. So like start a brag book, keep up with it, and do this before you need it.